Hey guys, Lee here. It's been a while. I haven't posted anything because I had to wait because we had to get a hold of AJE Racing because our cross member that we had some poor welds in it. And basically I put the arm on and one of the welds split just from wiggling the arm onto it. So anyways, contacted them. They were really cool about it. They said, no problem, we're going to send you a new one. It's an updated version. Apologize. We got rid of a couple of staff in 2018 that did poor welding. So anyways, what we're doing today is we're gonna pull out the old one. We had everything all mocked up, sort of where it was gonna go, which I'll show you in a sec because I've just started pulling it out, and show you the difference between the new one and the old one as well. So here we go. Take a look. So here we are. As you can see, we got everything sort of mocked up, brake line mocked up, got that cut out, ready to weld the new piece in. There's the old, I should say old K-member, new but not great K-member. And so what I've done is I've started unbolting everything, trying to do it so I can leave the A-arms and those in place, the coils, and basically undo everything. And then just drop this, and hopefully this will all hold while we quickly drop it. Slide up the new one, put the couple of bolts in it right there, and bolt it all back up. So we're going to get to work on that, and then I'll show you the difference. And also, as you can see, we've run a few brake line extensions for the new distribution block and Wilwood master cylinder. And got that all ready to go, as well as our steering shaft. We got our bearing pushed on there, and we got our U-joints is getting welded as we speak at a shop, and that's going to get welded on there for our steering shaft. So anyways, here we go. We're going to pull it off, and then I'll put them side by side and show you what they look like. Okay, so as you can see, we managed to undo everything. That's all being held by the sway bar end link, so it's being held out of place, which is nice. These tapped out with the rubber mallet, that one as well. I got this just sitting there hanging on those, so we got it out no problem. So that was easy. So it's going to be a quick swap. Now, as you can see, we're going to go over and see the difference of the two. So here's the old one. All right, so AJE did it like a gusset style for the ARs. All right. Now, problem is what I found and what we were talking about with AJE is no penetration on the welds. Right there, poor penetration. Right there, poor weld. That one doesn't look too bad on the outside, but again, no penetration. And again, no penetration. Other side, you can see, again, poor penetration, or next to no penetration really, as well as this one, no penetration, except for the back side, a slight bit on the bottom. The welds just don't look very good. And again, on that one, with the light, turn it over. No penetration. So when I was wiggling in the A-arm on the driver's side, and turn it over how it sits, this weld right here, hard to see, focus in, it's kind of hard to focus in. But anyways, you can see the very, very poor weld. And it basically pulled apart completely. The weld came right, basically this whole gusset moved outwards, which is not good. I think it was that side. I'm trying to remember now, and yes, it was that side. So anyways, now we're going to go show you the difference of the new one. So in response to the issues people were having with the bad welds and sort of the weaker design, AJE changed it. Instead of this flat plate there, or like an L piece of steel, angled iron, or whatever they use, chromoly tubing, chromoly steel, I don't know, but they did a different style. So instead they did it tubular down here, and here's your AR mounts, and the only thing is the mount to the frame rails, which again is same similar design. We're gonna just make one more hole here just like the other one, because that's an extra mounting point to make it stronger, because that bolt hole lines up perfectly with the cross brace that goes under the engine. Okay, so you can reuse those holes in those bolts. So much better design, a little bit sturdier from what it feels like when I picked it up. The cross bracing is a little bit thicker tubing that they've used compared to this one. As you can see, that tube right there is smaller, much smaller diameter than the replacement. So overall better. Overall the welds look much better, as you can see. Much better welds. These are welded on both sides right the way through. We actually showed it to a welder at one of the shops I deal with, and he actually looked at it and said it is passable. He says it's not the best welding he's ever seen, but he can tell there's penetration. He can tell that the welds are good. He put a scope down inside the tubing and could see that there was penetration or heat, enough heat into this tubing for the weld to penetrate into it. So that's a good sign. Much better. And again, I want to thank Anthony at AJE Racing for rectifying this issue and shipping me out the replacement one right away. So that was our delay. That's why you haven't seen a video for a while. And we're going to move on and get the new one back into place. So what we've done is we got the replacement K-member from AJE. They sent it. Everything looked good. Had the welds looked at. Way better tubing. So if you have an older AJE K-member that you got from 2018, around there, take a look at your welds and see what they're like, and if it is an issue, then contact them for sure and get it swapped out to the newer version. Newer version has some thicker tubing on it, so it's a little bit nicer, and the welds are, you know, way better. All right, so anyways, we're going on to the next step. We'll sort of show you what we've done so far and go from there. So here we go. Okay, so as you can see, the car is on the ground now. We got the Wilwood master cylinder plumbed in, proportioning valve plumbed in, clean up the firewall back there where it was going. Continue on and give everything a wipe down when we're getting close to putting the motor in. But anyways, so there you can see, and then you can see what we did with our steering shaft. So I got a 1-inch bore by 2-inch bearing and put it on the press, measured where it needed to go, and pressed it up into place on the shaft. Now inside the tube on the steering column there was about I would say 1.5 inches kind of a diameter tubing that was protruding out. So what I did was I took the die grinder with a small disc on there, got inside, ground it down to about the thickness, well, about half the thickness of the bearing. I originally was going to go the full thickness, but I realized I didn't push the bearing all the way up. I think I might have marked it wrong. But it's all good, because what we're going to do is right there where that bearing goes inside the flange kind of thing, or inside the steering column, is we're going to do some tack welds sort of around it to hold that into place, that bearing into place there. As well, we're going to lay a couple of tack welds on the steering shaft right at where the bearing sits, to stop that bearing ever from sliding down if there's ever, you know, any kind of movement. Now you don't want to make it too solid, because what will happen is it will defeat the purpose of the collapsible steering column. Alright, so always remember that, because these steering shafts on 68s are a 2-piece tube, so it's like a double D tubing inside, and one slides inside
or slides up around the outside of the other part. All right, and that's so it can basically slide back and forth in the event of a collision. So anyway, so what we did then is we proceeded to put our 1-inch double D U-joint there. As you can see, we drilled it, and basically, for our little set screws to go in to keep it in place where it's going to go. There's also a set screw on the back side of it where we made a little notch, flattened it down to also help to stop spinning. So there's 2 separate set screws on each one. There's our double D 3/4 inch steering shaft. So that goes to a 3/4 double D. And then there's our shaft, and then goes to our 36 spline 3/4 inch by 36 double D on this side, which is what's on the Fox body steering racks. Alright, so anyways, there you go, as you can see it. Now, as you can see, this K-member is better. It's a better design. Try to get a better angle for you, but it's a much better design. And there we've drilled our 2 bolt holes to go through to hold it into place on that frame rail. As you can see, a little bit better light now. And then on the other side, we just got to touch up after we weld anyways. We're going to be grinding to do our weld for our shock tower plate here. Now that's all trimmed out, ready to go. And we got our pieces sitting right there, ready to go. That's going to get welded in the morning. And so that'll get ground down for a good weld, and then we'll go back over that with the chassis paint we were using, and this as well with the satin black paint that we're have used on the rest of the inside of the engine bay. So here's the other side, a little bit harder to see now. As you can see, I haven't done the other bolt. What I did do for now is I did drill in this K-member a hole so the old cross member bolt hole could be used from the original cross member that went under here. And then what I got to do is, like I said, we were going to get this on the frame machine anyways, make sure that the frame is straight, because as you can see, there's a kink there from an accident at one time where this side looks like it got pushed, and one frame rail is slightly higher than the other that we've measured, but besides that, it's all pretty good. We just got to play with that height. So then what we got to do is we'll heat that up, give that a bang flat, and then that way we can drill out our other hole properly and put the bolt through, because otherwise if we put the bolt and washer through, it's not going to sit very nice on there the way it is, and then you're just going to be tightening it down and kind of squishing it down around the spot around that bolt and washer. So that shock tower is trimmed out as well. Did that last night, all nice and flat and straight. Now we're going. All right, so now what we're doing is we're going to get to the oil pan. So what we have here is we got the rear sump oil pan with the dipstick tube on the back, because we're going to get rid of the dipstick tube, obviously, that's going through the timing chain cover, and we're going to plug that off. Plug that off with something. And we've sort of decided upon 2 things. Is while the pan's off and everything, I can sort of do a little tap and put an MPT plug in there, a small brass one. Or the other thing is we can use a small frost plug. So I think I'm going to go with a small frost plug and just tap it in there to block off the old one. So anyways, here's the pan. So it's got a threaded MPT port on it, which is kind of nice. And this is look, it's made in Canada, which I've noticed a lot of OEM parts seem to be made in Ontario, Canada, which probably you guys have too. But yet the guys in Canada pay way more money for this than the guys in the United States, which is kind of funny. So anyways, it's a good pan. It's going to do the job for what we need for, like I said, the time being. And anyways, what we did opt for is the better one-piece neoprene style gasket. Way better. They won't leak or drip oil or weep oil on the back rear main, which is really common with the 2 or I should say 4-piece gaskets. 4-piece gaskets are horrible. So try to stay away from them if you can. Pay a little bit extra, get these ones. You get these, which help line it up. And yeah, super simple to do. Much nicer. It's got a little crush sleeves in there for when you tighten, and that also helps you to stop so you don't over tighten. All right, so over tightening as well, any of those bolts does cause a weeping or leaking pan gasket. And then what we've done here is, some people said they had trouble finding what one to use. This is going to be the new oil dipstick, and it should be the right length for what we need, and it's ready to go into that pan, which is nice. So anyways, I'm going to get to work, and I'll show you what it looks like when the pan's on.